Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Bengal Magazine. We're going to talk hoops and hockey today. Up first is basketball, and men's basketball coach Fajri Ansari is joining us. He's bringing along Chris Cartwright, the point guard out of Binghamton. Next up is Nick Carriere, the 15th ranked team in the country, men's hockey. Nick is bringing along Trevor McKinney. And then finally, women's hockey takes the stage, and Burke, and Rob is bringing along Amanda Johnston. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're talking hoops. Welcome back to Bengal Magazine. We're going to talk a little basketball now, and men's basketball off to a great start, 3-0 on the season, and joined by Fajri Ansari and Chris Cartwright. And welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Coach, 3-0. Why don't you give us just a little summation of how things have gone? Has it gone the way you thought it would go? Have there been surprises, or have there been some, got to fix that?
A little bit of both. There was signs that we could be, quick, aggressive, but I know we were young still, and seemingly we always get an injury this time of year.
There you go.
So we've been very fortunate to have the record that we have now, and still waiting on our post player to get back with us hopefully on Friday.
Well, that post player is whom and what happened and coming back Friday?
Yeah, T.O. Jackson, he hurt his elbow actually in the first scrimmage game we had down in Rochester at St. John Fisher, and it wasn't a torn ligament, thankfully, but it injured the muscle pretty bad, and so they want to give him about another week before he actually get into full contact, but he certainly will contribute to us. He's a good rebounder for us as well as scorer.
You talked about a little bit about the roster and maybe the youth, and it's interesting. This is a kind of a strange roster when you look at it, because I think you have experience, but there's only one senior on the team. There's 5 or 6 juniors and only a couple freshmen. So you're considering this a youthful team or an experienced team, or a little of both?
More youthful than experienced. I think we've been doing a pretty good job learning on the way. But I think actual game experience, we have a few players who've really been tested, so it's important. We're trying to get good competition early, get tested early, so that we can get ready for league play.
Chris Cartwright has come to us from Binghamton, and TC3, I believe, is the nickname of the community college, Tompkins Cortland. How did you find him, and how did you find us? Why don't you start, Chris?
Well, I'm studying criminal justice, so decided to come here because I know it's a good program, and I gave Coach a call and told him, hey, I wanted to come here and play, and he gave me the opportunity. So. And
has Coach ever seen Chris play before, or was this kind of a cold call for you?
Well, you get calls and emails all the time. And his coach actually called me back because we told him, about our situation, what we had to do. And coach said, I don't think he got the impression you took him too seriously. But I was going to actually follow up based on it, because I did do some research on the stats. I was going to follow up, but Coach did call back, and I appreciated that. And then the more I looked into it, I said, this could be exactly what we've been looking for.
Well, it seems like it has been. I mean, the season is early, and yet he's averaging 34 minutes a game. He started all 3 games. Second in the team in scoring, I believe, at 19-3, but leads the team in assists. Your standpoint, is this going faster than you thought it would, or did you think, okay, we'll get in there the first year and just kind of take it easy and show them what I can do, and I'm not hoping for too much here?
Well, I don't really try to take it easy. I work as hard as I can, and when I checked the website and stuff, I noticed how many weapons there are around, and I didn't really have as much help as I could, noticing the scoring, the rebounding, to help the athleticism. And with that, I was like, maybe I should take this opportunity and run with it. So I've just been working hard, and it's paying off so far. So.
And Fajri, how about your thoughts on Chris? Is this a surprise or is this what you were thinking of? Somebody come in, start, and have these kind of numbers?
Well, it was a surprise how it came about, but it was definitely what we were looking for. And this year we probably have 5. We do have 5 guards that we can play.
Okay.
Last year we had 2 that was playing almost 38 or 40 minutes, and it didn't allow us to keep the type of up-tempo and pressure defense that we like to play. But now I'm comfortable, even though one of the guards is a freshman and the other is a sophomore, but we're comfortable in that they can put valuable minutes in and keep the type of flow that we want to keep on.
So you're comfortable rotating 9-10 in? Would that be the right number?
Yes, we hope so.
Wow.
Yeah, we have.
And then
to.
run fast and run hard.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's all about pressure defense.
Yeah,
right?
especially being young, because if we're not clicking in terms of our experience and decision making, then we're hoping that we can wear teams down, and that has happened a couple of times.
Okay. I want to go back to the exhibition game against Canisius, a Division I program, and a 12-point loss, I believe. The loss, I suppose, was expected, Division I, Division III. But I think some eyebrows were raised in terms of only a 12-point deficit. And I'm curious what you learned as coach from that game, and did that 12-point deficit surprise you?
I knew we had there was one of our players, Jake Simmons' brother, plays for Canisius, and they had actually been during summer school, kids got together and played against each other, and I saw that they were able to do, from what I'm hearing, mostly that they were able to do well, and I thought, okay, well, this would be a good contest for us, good early competition and just see how we fare. I knew we had some weapons in terms of scoring and we could be quick. Again, we was without our post player, and we had them down to about 5 points with 4 minutes and some change left.
There you
go. We don't, everybody say you don't really subscribe too much to moral victories, but I was pleased with the effort. Compared to last year, we always found ways to kind of like, when the writing is on the wall, kind of like pack it in a little bit.
Right.
And I don't think we've done that this year, which I'm really pleased about.
Off camera before we went on, you had talked about some of the changes from community college basketball and what Fajri is running here in D3. What are some of the transition points that you've had to overcome early in the season here?
Oof. Well, maybe like one of the main transitions was accepting a different type of role.
Okay.
Since we have a lot more scorers, a lot more people that I feel comfortable can do something with the basketball, it becomes a lot easier on me. And we were talking about Jake earlier too. It becomes a lot easier for him as well because we trust each other.
Okay.
So if he has the ball, I know he's going to be okay with it. I can move off the ball and vice versa, and everything's just working out great. So I think accepting my new role, I don't really have to score and hold on to the ball, and I can trust other people is
fabulous.
One of the great things. Yeah.
And let's talk about Jake Simmons, who's really been playing some outstanding basketball, really over the last 2 years now, going into this year. Just named the Conference Player of the Week. Talk a little bit about what Jake means to the team. Obviously, leading scorer, nearly 27 points a game, throwing up 8 3-pointers at a fantastic percentage rate. What does he mean to the success of the team?
Well, to Jake's credit, I think he's just within 1 year, he's adopted to the changes that we've made this team. And again, like Chris said, it helps out a lot that he's there because he's not only the only marked person, because he's coming in, they know he's a scorer, he's a 3-point threat. And now we have other people who can score outside. The other thing to Jake's credit is that we talked about doing other things other than just being a 3-point shooter. And he's, especially the last game, he's done that. I said, I don't care, as long as we win and you score 30 points and don't make a 3, it doesn't matter.
Sure.
And so he's not so stuck on just doing that because it was a time where if his shot was a little off, then he would drop his head a little bit. But he's a good athlete. He could get to the basket, and Chris helps us out along with our point guard, Norm Simmons, in distributing the ball so he can find open people. So Jake is playing well. I think he still can get a lot better.
Less than a minute left. We start conference play Friday versus Cortland, 8 o'clock at the Sports Arena. Usual suspects in terms of who's going to be on top besides Buffalo State, or is there a surprise out there that maybe we should be looking at?
Well, conference games are always competitive. SUNY is one of the toughest conferences in the country, and it just seems, you can't just go by what's on paper or by record or even, matching up the players size-wise or even years of experience. There's always going to be a tough game. Cortland's a different contrast and style than we play, and they try to pound it and hold the ball. And we're hoping this year we'll have a little, because they packed it in on us last year because we didn't have as many outside threats. So we're hoping that it could open up some. Oswego is game. We split with them last year. So we're not taking anybody for granted. But I think if we can take care of the ball, we've done a little bit better job in turnovers, not nowhere near that what I would like.
Okay.
And last game we did decent from the free throw line, which has been a nemesis of ours for the last year. So we take care of those things and get out running. I think we have a good shot.
Well, Coach, Chris, we're going to hold you to that. because Friday we're all going to be here at the Sports Arena for an 8 o'clock game versus Cortland. The SUNYACs open up. So for $5, why not come out and see some great Division III basketball? Guys, wish you the best of luck on Friday. We're going to take a quick break, but before we do, it's time for another Rapid Fire, and here's Alexa Myers.
Thanks, Tom. This is another segment of Rapid Fire. Today we're with Devine, a junior on the women's basketball team. Devine, where is your hometown?
I am from Vestal, New York.
And what are some pregame meals that you like?
Pre-game meals, I usually like to eat something light, like a salad or something like that, maybe some bread for some energy as well.
And if we were to turn on your iPod right now, what would we see?
You would see a lot of R&B like Usher, Chris Brown, and that's pretty much it. I like slow music.
Thanks, Devine.
All right, everybody, we're going to talk a little hockey now with Nick Carriere and Trevor McKinney from men's hockey, obviously. And men's hockey is off to a fantastic start, and that's not to understate it. I'm probably not even overstating it. 6-2-1, but for the first time in the program's history, nationally ranked, 15th in the country. And gentlemen, congratulations on that. Nick, why don't you let's go back a little bit to the beginning of the season. Well, let's just talk generally about the 6-2-1 start. Is it where you thought it would be? Are you a little surprised by this, or what's your reaction to this kind of start?
I expect it to be ranked. we were a little surprised by it. It was with a huge freshman class and with a lot of uncertainty, with 2 freshman goaltenders coming in, a lot of freshman defensemen, a lot of freshmen that will be in the lineup in general. And with the schedule that we play with how strong our conference is and our out-of-conference schedule this year is, there's a lot of things up in
Sure,
there.
absolutely.
But going into Oswego, we played Elliott Lake Bobcats, which was a junior team for our preseason game. We won 10-1, so that didn't really reflect, I think, the competition we were going to see. First game of the year in Oswego, 4,000 students, Jumbotron, and I got a freshman goaltender, 3 freshman defensemen on the ice, and a bunch of freshman forwards, and we played a really good hockey game. Lost 5-2 with an empty net goal. Right. It was 3-2 going into the third period. We had a chance to win that game. And then you go in the next night to Cortland. Didn't quite have the start that we had. Kind of were asleep for the first period. Then the second and third played pretty well. Tied it back up. Got our goaltender out, and made it a respectable score, 4-3. Okay. Still didn't get it done. And then after we look at the video, we see that 3 of their 4 goals were off of skates and off of sticks and things like that. So we say, okay.
So what you're saying is a break here, a break there, and you could be 8-0-1.
Well, yeah, it's
hockey.
hockey.
It sounds wow, really, but it could have happened.
It's hockey. I haven't been coaching for the longest time in the world, but ever since I've been involved with Division III hockey, especially, it's led by goaltending and it's led by hard work and discipline systems and things.
Great
like that.
lead into this guy. Hard work and discipline. But you talked about the freshman, and he's not a freshman, Trevor. He's a sophomore, but he's still youthful. I mean, he's not a junior or senior yet. And I'm curious, are you surprised by the start of this team, knowing the freshmen that are in your locker room?
Not really surprised. I had my worries at the beginning of the year, having 17 freshmen come in. I mean, it's a little scary when you don't have that many upperclassmen in the lineup. Right. So, but the freshmen have done a good job. They're all hard workers. I give credit to all of them. They push us in practice, which helps the older guys. I mean, stay in the lineup.
Okay.
But yeah, it just takes their hard work to get us going too.
And this guy's posted some interesting numbers. I mean, he leads the team in points with 7 goals and 6 assists. Both of those are team leaders, by the way, in goals and assists. You first. You've already eclipsed the numbers from last year, your freshman year. Are you saying, this is going better than I thought, or is this where you thought you'd be as a sophomore?
You know what? From last year, I thought this year I needed a better start, and I'm glad that I'm off to a good start now. I know last year I struggled at the beginning of the season with switching from juniors to college hockey.
Okay.
Hockey, sorry. Yep. And coach was on me at the beginning of the year and needed to play a certain way in college hockey, and this year I've taken that into effect, and it's really helping me out.
So what is this way he has to play in college hockey? What were you trying to tell him? Or where has he progressed the most to get to these numbers right now?
I think at any level, whenever you make the jump from one level to the next level, whether it's college to pro or junior to college, there's that demands on what's expected of you. Junior hockey, Trevor was one of the top scoring guys, in the league and especially on his team. He scored goals. He had more time with the puck. He could do a lot of things that at this level you don't have time.
Okay.
And at this level, everybody has to be physical. And at this level, everybody has to back check with a passion. And those are things that, Trevor's a hard-working player, and that's why we brought him in here. And he's a hard-working player with some touch, and he could score some goals. And last year, he had a lot of opportunities to score goals, and we'll laugh about it because, there was pucks lying on the goal line, and he'd whack at it, and someone would lift up his stick right before it got there, and there was just a lot of those.
Kind of like you in our pickup game.
Exactly. But crossbars, posts, he was hitting them all. And this year it was just great to see him finish on those and getting some of those.
But isn't there a fine line between gripping the stick too tight and gripping it just right? And man, that's a gray area that you can't say do it. You just almost have to find it as a player. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. I mean, that was probably one of the biggest issues with me last year, is knowing that I was a leading scorer on my junior team. Coming into this team, I had big expectations. So.
Okay.
I mean, I probably was gripping the stick a little bit last year, which probably didn't help my chances of scoring there. So, I mean, yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay. Let's talk about the great North Country trip, as we like to say. We go to Potsdam and Plattsburgh. It's easy for me to say.
Yeah.
But a terrific win, both wins, but a terrific win at Plattsburgh. And I think, I'm not gonna think. I'm gonna ask you. Does that set the tone for the rest of the season when you go into a building like that with that kind of crowd and national champions and former national champions, et cetera, and you knock them off at that kind of score too?
It shows to our group of young men that anything's possible in college hockey. And sometimes, we talk and we talk with people in the hockey world, and you look at it and you say, in the game of hockey, if you play hard and you play a certain way and you get a couple of saves from your goaltender and you get some timely goals and some timely opportunities, anybody can beat anybody on any given night.
Okay.
And I think our team showed some of that, against Plattsburgh. And Plattsburgh went off and knocked off Norwich this past weekend, number one team in the country. So you never know. And I think that was just a great experience for such a young group to experience that and say, hey, anything's possible. And we just did this. And look at what we have coming forward for the rest of the season and some of the things we can still do.
Let's talk about this goaltender, Kevin Carr, a freshman, one of these many freshmen on the team. Man, I mean, as a forward, you've got to. I would think in the back of your head, you're thinking, "Oh, I got a freshman back there. We better cover him a little bit." And yet now, maybe the thought has changed a little bit. That man, he's got our back. This guy can do it, and he can lead us. What do you guys think about a goaltender that's playing that well, even though he's a freshman?
At the beginning of the year, I'm not going to lie, I was a little worried when we had two freshman goalies coming in. But Kari's done a good job lately. He's a hard worker in practice. And you know what? Nothing rattles that guy. Like, he's always on the ball. I have a lot of confidence in him right now.
Well, I want to keep shaking my head because Friday we take on Morrisville at 7 o'clock at the Ice Arena. Tickets are $5. If you want to see great Division III hockey, great hockey period, come out to the Sports Arena and the Ice Arena. Friday, 7 o'clock versus Morrisville. Guys, good luck the rest of the season. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break. But before we do, another rapid fire from Alexa Myers, and this one's featuring Kaylin Murray.
We're here with sophomore Kaylin Murray. Kaylin, where's your hometown?
Medicine Hat, Alberta, Canada.
And what's your favorite thing about your hometown?
Size. It's a small town. Yeah.
Do you have any siblings?
I have 2 older brothers.
Great, thank you.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Bengal Magazine. A little more hockey now. Let's talk women's hockey. And joining us is Rob Burke and Amanda Johnston. Welcome.
Thank you.
Little disappointing, maybe not, maybe yes. I'm not sure. Off to a slow start. Something you expected, or are you disappointed as coaching this team right now?
No, definitely didn't expect this slow start, Tom.
Okay.
Much as Nick was saying last segment that he was surprised at the good start. We're really almost in shock with the bad start. We head out to Vermont for a road trip where we, on paper, are the better team both nights, and we come away with a split against St. Mike's and Castleton, so that was disappointing. Our team did kind of fess up after the Castleton win that they had looked at the scores on Friday, saw Utica had pounded Castleton 10-0 and thought it's just going to be a cakewalk. And of course, games not played on paper, games played on the ice. So
correct.
That bad start probably kind of sat in the back of our heads maybe.
Okay.
Probably played with the confidence maybe of our freshmen in particular, because we haven't had the freshman success that the men have had so far, which has been a little bit of a disappointment as well. But you know, we've just had a slower start than we expected.
Yeah. Agree with that, Amanda, from a student-athlete standpoint?
Yeah, but the good part about it is that it's early in the season.
Correct. Third of the way, right?
Yep, so we can fix it, and we have a lot of games left. So. Okay.
Talk about going up to Vermont. Is he correct in that assessment? Were you kind of looking at the scoreboard as the players and really
a lot
not?
Of us knew that Utica beat them with a high score, so we kind of thought.
Piece of cake.
Yeah, that's what we thought.
It wasn't. Gosh, I got to tell you something, Rob. I mean, I can almost sense your disappointment. I mean, you're a little hot under the collar here in the studio. And,
we're not happy, no.
But why is that, though? I mean, why are you disappointed? What is not working or that you thought might be working right now?
Well, our potential this year is huge, Amanda. I mean, we have 25 kids on the roster for the first time ever in program history, and it's not just bodies.
Okay.
They all can compete.
Yeah.
They all can play. So we have kids sitting out for the first time that actually, you know, are going to be able to contribute once they get the opportunity. But we have a deep roster. It's just it hasn't quite clicked.
Okay.
There's been a lot of permutations and combinations of lines that we've tried. Some have worked. Our top two lines, no matter who we put on the top two lines, they were always clicking. And after that, it peters off pretty quickly. So just it hasn't quite been there. Our D have been fantastic.
Okay.
Our goaltending has been solid, but the forwards really need to step up now. And we challenge them. We've been challenging them this week in practice with that.
Well, it's interesting what you're saying there, because you're talking about the progress of the program. And we have somebody here who's been with the program for 4 years now. And really, all of Rogers, you're your 5th year now, but you've been here through this whole.
Yeah.
And tell us about the evolution of the program. Have you noticed here, and slowly moving up in talent to the point now where there's 25 ladies on the team and you're sitting people out?
Yeah. Well, when I first started, it was everyone knew they were going to play.
All right.
We didn't win as many games, and each year it progressed greatly. Okay. And now this year we have probably the best team we've ever seen.
On paper.
On paper,
yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We have to win some games now, but yeah, and everyone's fighting for a spot to play.
And that's the way you want it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as simple as that. You want them working hard and keep trying to get on the ice and be motivated.
Oh, the competitiveness and spiritedness in practice has been higher than it's ever been.
Oh,
okay.
It's been a lot of fun. I mean, practice has been fantastic. It's just that carry over to the weekends. There's been seemingly a little bit of a lull. You know, in the kids, we've had a lot of meetings, and the kids have talked about how, you know, we compete all week in practice for that spot to get on the, you know, in the lineup for Friday or Saturday. And then it's kind of like, oh, I made the roster for this weekend type of thing. And then there's a bit of a lull. I mean, that's kind of been some of the discussion we've had. And of course, now we're trying to figure out ways to keep that competitiveness going right into the weekends.
Well, how do you do that, Miss Senior? I mean, I'm not sure if you're assuming a leadership role, but simply by being a senior, you have a leadership responsibility, I would think. Do you sense that in the locker room, that there's like a letdown once they do get on the ice for the weekend games per se, and are you pushing your fellow teammates?
I don't know if it's so much as a letdown in the locker room. We don't really sense that.
Okay.
But we just need to find a way within ourselves to have the want.
Okay.
More than.
And none of the games this season have been quote unquote blowouts. I mean.
Day 2 at Newman was the biggest score, but you know, 5-1 with an empty netter.
Let's talk about the Potsdam trip a little bit, because I think that was somewhat disappointing for you. Yeah. You were expecting to take 2 up there, and a 3-2 loss to start the trip with. That must have been very disappointing. So what happened overnight before you got back on the ice and you beat them 5-3? Was there tweaking? Or was it just a matter of desire?
I think there's a combination of a little bit of everything. You know, the first day, 3-2 loss. You know, their first goal is a shot that's went wide.
And we'll get things turned around, because that's why we pay the big bucks, right?
That's why.
All right, we're going to wrap it up here at Bengal Magazine. We want to wish everybody out there a happy holidays, and we'll see you again in a couple of weeks for more Bengal Magazine.